lost a good friend this past week, and it's been a really hard couple of days because I've never really lost someone that I actually knew closely, someone that affects my life in a positive way, someone that's had an impact on a lot of my videos, because this person has been so great and so helpful to me and to this channel and even to you guys. I recently found out that my friend Brother Frank TV passed away, and it was the most shocking thing ever. Not only because the man passed away, but how it happened and how we discovered that he passed away. So a lot of you guys might have known Brother Frank TV from some of my videos. I have featured him in the past in the videos, like when we were at the Wilson Castle, and you've probably seen him a lot on the vlog channel as well. Brother Frank TV was such a kind-hearted man. I've never met anyone, literally anyone, in the field that I work in the field that I do, like videos, as humble and genuine as Brother Frank TV. Real name Frank Ambrogio. This man would go out of his way to literally pay for locations that I've never filmed in, and he would just call me up like, "Hey Mo, I've set you up to film in this spot," and then I get there and I film it, and when I go to pay, they're like, "Oh, it's already taken care of." Like, who does that? And he never asked for like a shout out or anything in return. He just did that out of the kindness of his heart because he enjoyed true and genuine friendship, which is something that's so rare. I'm going to backtrack a little bit and tell you guys what happened, and the footage that you guys are going to see might be a little bit too much, might be a little bit emotional, but it is what it is, and it's the reality of the world, and it's actually how we discovered Frank was dead, through the help of so many amazing people in my life, such as Omar and Tiffany, Angelo, and his friend Chad. If it wasn't for everyone working together this past week, I don't think we would have ever found Frank for at least maybe another couple of weeks. And that would have been just so much more worse. So to backtrack a little bit, Frank, for those of you guys that don't know, Frank is someone that, he helps me get a lot of locations. Like, he has a YouTube channel, Brother Frank TV is what it's called. But he's helped me get so many locations to film in like the last few years. Frank and I talk on the phone frequently. We don't hang out as much in person, but we talk on the phone a lot. He calls me every time something's happening in his life. He calls me every time he needs some advice on something. And he calls me every time he just wants to ask me a question about YouTube. In which, I always sat on the phone and I chatted with him, because he's such a happy guy to chat with. Like, he really is. He was such a happy guy. So, long story short, last week, I was supposed to go on a USA road trip with Frank. By last week, I mean the 11th of September. It's now September 20th. And I didn't discover Frank being dead until 2 days ago. So on the 11th, I was supposed to go film a YouTube video with Frank in New York State, near where he's residing. And the week before that, him and I were on the phone constantly, and he was sending me locations, showing me stuff that could be possible good film locations for you guys. And, we were talking back and forth, and he was setting stuff up for me. Just, putting together locations, stuff that's paid for, that I have to pay for, all that stuff. And then he went completely dark, like just completely disappeared. The last time I think I talked to him was probably on maybe the 10th, maybe the 9th, I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. Maybe it was even the 2nd. I think it might have been the 2nd of September. But then I just thought he was busy, because Frank's been going to the hospital back and forth to get treatments. I don't want to say what the treatments were for, but every time he would go to the hospital, when he would come back home and he would tell me he's not feeling good, the medication they're giving him are making him feel weird, and he just didn't really invest too much of his time. He just thought it was normal. I honestly, I'll get into that later on. But every time he did, he would call me, he would tell me how he's feeling, and I would just be like, "Hey man, you just gotta take it easy, you gotta just relax, I hope it'll pass, Frank's mother recently died of cancer, and the doctors found something in him. I'm not going to say what it is. It's not my place to. And he was, doing testing and all this other stuff for it, just to make sure he didn't have it too. So he was on a lot of medication. Long story short is on the 11th, when I was supposed to come to New York State, meet up with Frank, film these amazing locations, he went completely silent. Like, no word from him. He never messaged me. The 4 or 5 days before that, I lost, like, he just wasn't messaging. I assumed he was busy because he had a lot of doctor's appointments, because he kept telling me I have a doctor appointment on all these days. And so I assumed, he was busy. He was going to his doctor's appointments. He needed time. So I gave him his space. I really wish I didn't, to be honest. So for me, it's like killing me on the inside, because I wish I had done something from the moment he stopped messaging. So long story short, we get into New York, and hey Frank, where you at? We're in New York. We drove over from Canada. Where are you? Where are you? No word from him. And I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe he's just depressed or something and he doesn't want to talk to anybody. We all go through that. We all go through stages of depression, and we just, shut off from the world. It's perfectly normal. So we just kept on going with our road trip. We didn't have a map of locations to film because Frank had everything. So we're like, you know what? We'll just skip New York. Let's just drive out to West Virginia, do the Appalachia series that I'm posting, go to South Carolina. But every day since I had been on this road trip, I wake up in the morning, I call Frank, I go to bed, I call Frank. No answer. Send him text messages, no answer. Goes straight to voicemail, like his phone was dead. Now I remember at one point, Frank's phone had broken, so he didn't have a phone for a week. And I assumed maybe his phone was broken again, and he didn't have... Oh, fuck, this is so hard, man. I assumed his phone was broken again, and which is why I was like, okay, well, let me try calling the next day. After a week, I was like, okay, enough is enough. Something needs to be done here. This guy's not answering his phone. In my heart, I felt something was off. I really did. Now, I didn't think he might be dead. I didn't think he was dead. I literally thought he was just at home depressed, and he just didn't want to talk to anybody. So I started putting together, a team, kind of. So I messaged Tiffany and Omar. I'm like, hey, do you guys know Frank? Do you guys know anything about him, about his personal life? No one knows anything, from our groups. Nobody shares their full names and addresses, right? It's understandable. But we didn't know his full real name. We didn't know where he lived, and none of that. So Tiffany, God bless her, Omar's fiance, she did some research, and she found out what his full name is, I think, or where he lives. Tiffany sent me the information. She's like, hey Mo, I think this is his house. She sent me a satellite image of what the house looks like, the address. And sure enough, in the satellite image, when Google, I guess, went through his street to, because, Google goes through your street and it gets videos or pictures of your house so they can put it on Street View. He was literally standing outside of the house. Now, keep in mind, that photo is probably from, a few years ago. So we had his address. We have his number. But we also have his full name, which is Frank Ambrogio. And Brother Frank TV, obviously. So, what did I do? I called the police station in his area. And I didn't call the police knowing that he was dead or passed away. I really genuinely thought he was just depressed at home. So when we called the police, our intention was just to film that, oh my God, he's okay. Yes, Frank, where are you, man? So when we were in the car, we were in South Carolina. We were actually heading to New York to go to his house and knock on his door. But I'm like, hey, let's call the cops before. It's about a 15-hour drive. Let's call the cops and see what's going on before we get there. So in no way did we have any intention of filming this, knowing this man was not alive. I literally thought and had the hopes of the cops telling me, hey, we found him, he's okay, and it would have been a happy ending, but it wasn't. If sucks. It wasn't. So as you guys know, in the last few vlogs, I talk about my friend brother Frank TV. He's been missing. I haven't had any contact with him, and he's not the type of guy to lose contact with because he literally calls me like daily and we chat and everything. Long story short, last week, it's been about a week now, he gave me a call and he didn't sound too happy. He sounded very depressed. He's been having some health issues, you know, going to the doctors for it. I don't want to like really talk about or expose what his health issues are, but long story short, we talked for about an hour and a bit on the phone. Shadia was there too. This was when Shadia and I were at that haunted B&B in New York. Got off the phone with him. He seemed pretty happy and dandy after our phone call. The very next day, he messaged me telling me that he's going to be sending me locations to film in New York, and he's going to be joining me on some of them. Paid locations too, so, you know, stuff that I go to and pay to film, like haunted houses and stuff. A day later, on the 11th, me and Aldo cross over into New York, you know, expecting to meet up with Frank. No word from him. He's been missing. We haven't talked to him or anything like that. And it's been about a week now, maybe a little bit over a week, and we actually haven't heard from him yet. Hasn't replied. His phones go straight to voicemail. I've asked so many people to look out for him and get a hold of him. Nobody can get a hold of him, just same as us. We're all in the dark. And Frank is not like that. Like, he's like, you call this guy, he doesn't answer. He calls back in 2 minutes. And he doesn't stop calling until you get back to him on the phone. And so we're really worried about him right now. Thing is we didn't know what Frank's full name is. We just know him as Brother Frank TV. That's how it is in the YouTube world. A lot of times you don't know a full name of somebody. So we found his real name, which is good. You know, thanks to Tiffany, she did some research. I got Tiffany and Omar involved in this. I did put out a big tweet as well on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it. We found his full name, and we actually just now found his address, his home address and everything. And we're pretty sure that it's his home address because we checked it on the satellite, and he's literally standing outside of his home on the satellite image view of his address, which is pretty crazy. I know, but that guarantees us that that's his home. So what I'm going to be doing is probably calling the cops in his area. I'm not going to give away his area, obviously, but I'm going to call the cops in his area and see if they can go to his house and do a wellness check. So once I stop somewhere, right now the traffic's moving, I'm going to do that and have the cops go to his house and do a wellness check on him. I really hope he's okay, man. Like, we're all worried. Angelo and his friends are actually pursuing this too, and they haven't been successful in finding Frank or anything about Frank or where he is. So we got 3 teams working on this right now. There's us, Omar, and there's Angelo. So I hope other people are actively looking for him. I hope family members of his are looking for him. But I just know he wasn't doing too well when we had a conversation last, and I really hope he's okay. We're going to try giving the police a call. We're kind of stuck in traffic, so I'm still going to do this regardless. I mean,
This is the same video.
So I hope this is a police station in that
This
area.
is the same video for the last scene of the part from another video. Go check another video. Check it out. This is the same video.
Is that the police number? Why aren't the police answering?
Sheriff's office?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how's it going?
Hey, good. I'm looking to do a wellness check on a friend of mine. Me and a lot of friends haven't heard from him in a long time. It's been about a week.
Okay. And is that uncommon? Like, you usually talk to him more than
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So it's been about a week since we heard from him. Usually he calls like every day, and we chat every day. And the last time I had a chat with him was about a week ago, and he seemed very depressed and sad. And we were supposed to actually meet up the day after that. I'm from Canada, and I was supposed to meet up with him in New York to do some filming together, and he just completely disappeared.
Where does he live?
He lives at...
What's his name?
His name is Frank Ambrogio.
This is the real name, you know.
Alright, hold on just 1 second for me, okay?
Okay.
Hey, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they can get out there before us, because we're like 15 hours away still.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Tell me what your friend's name is one more time.
His name is Frank. Last name Ambrogio. Ambrogio.
Any drug history? Any?
No. I just know he was getting some weird he was getting some treatments at the hospital for like I think he was doing like and I think he found that he had something and he called me. He was very depressed, and after that we just stopped hearing from him. I've had a lot of people that know him reach out. No one's heard from him, so we're all kind of worried about it.
Alright, we'll send Sydney PD over to check on Frank for you, okay?
Okay, can you have somebody call me once they find out what's going on, please?
Yep. What is Frank's phone number?
His phone number, I don't think oh wait, I do have it. Give me 1 second.
Alright. And yes, I will ask the officer after they check on him to give you a call, or once they touch base with Frank, they'll ask Frank to get a hold of you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Alright, so that's the best thing we can do is have police go out to his house and see if he's there. Honestly, like, we wouldn't have had his address if it wasn't for Tiffany. His full name, if it wasn't for Angelo, I think, and Tiffany as well. So big shout out to Tiffany. Everyone's working hard to figure out what's going on here, so I hope he's okay, man. We'll find out. The cop said they'll call me back once they have information. They called, but they hung up. Who did they call back? We just got a call from the cops, but they literally rang twice before they answered. Hello?
Hi, this is Mohammed.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Officer Dale with the Sydney Police Department.
Hey.
So, unfortunately, it's bad news. Frank has passed away.
No.
Do you know, has any living family members next of kin for us to make contact with, or?
No, I don't know. I know his mom recently passed away, and that's the only family that I knew he had. Oh my God.
Okay, I mean, he didn't have, because, the neighbor said he didn't know of anybody besides his parents who had passed away.
No.
Can I get a proper spelling? I just name spelled as Mohamad, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And then last name Sargi?
That's correct, yeah. Sergeant.
Okay. Could I get a date of birth for him?
For myself or for him, you said?
No, for you. I have all Frank's yours for being the person who reported us to come out here and check on him.
Yeah, November 3rd, 1987.
That day his birthday,
Do you know
guys.
what happened? Do you know what happened?
I'm not sure. He's been on the floor in his living room, looks like, for a few days because, he's bloated and discolored. So, I'm guessing something medical. And what's a good address for you, Mohammed?
I'm from Canada. You want my address?
From Canada?
Yeah. Because we were supposed to meet up on this trip into the U.S. I'm in the U.S. right now. Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. And, bad news, but we'll do what we have to do.
Like I had a feeling because I've known Frank for like a few years on and off, like through YouTube, because we make videos together, and he's a very reliable guy, very super reliable. And when I came into New York, I called him. He's not answering. He was supposed to meet up with me and go on a road trip, and then nothing came out of it. I just thought maybe something was, you had to go to the hospital or something, because I knew he was going to the hospital for like for checkups.
Okay.
And
Frank?
I'm sorry, yeah, about Frank.
Yeah, when was the last time that you talked to him?
A week ago.
A week ago?
He gave me a call a week ago. I was in New York at that time, and he sounded very depressed, like very not Frank, because he's always a happy guy. He's a pastor, and he just sounded very, very off. and then I had a talk with him for about an hour. I made him happy throughout that talk. And the very next day, he messaged me, told me that he's going to send me locations to film, because we film YouTube videos. And then the day after that, he stopped messaging me. I never heard from him because I crossed over into the U.S. And I'm like, hey, Frank, where are you? I'm here. Let's meet up. I didn't have his address or anything. All week I've been trying to find his address and his full name, because I've only known him as Brother Frank TV.
Well, I'm sorry for the bad news, but thanks for helping us with locating him and figuring this out.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. Do you know how long you think he's been sitting there for? A few days, you said?
At least, yeah. I mean, the coroner is gonna check him out tomorrow and figure it out, but for now, it's definitely been a few days that he's back.
Okay, thank you so much for going there. My mind is everywhere right now.
All right. Sorry for your loss, man.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a good night.
Just want to give a shout out to Brother Frank over here. Brother Frank.
What's up, everybody? How you doing, Brother Frank TV?
Because he's awesome, okay? He hooked this place up. He actually hooked us up with The Conjuring the last time. That's why we got The Conjuring. So big thank you to him. And if it wasn't for him, we would never have filmed The Conjuring house.
When they had the German Shepherd here, the German Shepherds started growling. I'm like, takes me 3 hours and 30 minutes. I'm there with Big.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
big interest.
Takes me about three and a half, and maybe
Oh, possibly.
I don't
Sound
know.
like you're on that way.
I don't know. I hear things all the time.
So, are you filming a video here tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video.
Yeah, let's help you out. Let's help you out with the video. We'll vlog it too.
One last look from him, but not one last look, another look, okay?
Rolling around with me. Oh, look at this camera guy.
Hi,
Who are you?
my name is Julio
Julio.
from Pakistan. What do you think, Frank? We're gonna capture something paranormal in here, or what?
I think maybe in the second floor we usually get some good stuff up there.
Man, this place is so freaking cool. It's literally cool. It's cold in here. It's so worth it.
I always try to bring people that have never had a chance to get in here. They are like they got to get in this particular day, and Denise has always been gracious enough to accommodate it.
Such an awesome place, right?
How many times can you say you stayed in a castle?
This is the most important part. Sorry, family, leaving a donation. Okay? You have to.
Donations are the way to go. Don't forget, you ever come here and these bookings.
You think 100's enough?
How much?
100? Is that enough?
I'm gonna put my.
Brother Frank is heading out as well. Thank you so much for setting this up, man.
You're most welcome, the great Mozart.
He calls me, I don't know why, I'm just a humble peasant of God. He calls me the Great Mozarty, but
The great Mozart.
big shout out to Frank because he made this
Just actually look of her last picture you just saw.
So yeah, man, that footage you saw there was probably like, I'm like sitting here reviewing it and like trying to edit this. I'm trying to like make like a nice memorial thing for him, but like it's so freaking hard, man. Like I've known this guy for 3 years, and in those 3 years I've seen him maybe 5 or 6 times, but he had such a big impact on my life because he was such a genuine and amazing guy. Even though I've seen him only 5 or 6 times in 3 years, he still meant a lot to me. Like, he was a real friend. I take friendship very, very seriously. Like, if you claim you're my friend, I take you very, very seriously. And that's how people should be. You should take your friends very, very seriously, guys, because you never know when you're going to lose them. Now, when the cops called us, I'm like, hey, film this because I think they found him and I think he's okay. I literally thought he was okay. I really, really genuinely did. I genuinely thought this man was like, hey, I'm going to call Mo back and he didn't, unfortunately. So when they called me back, they're like, unfortunately, he's dead. And it just hit me like a freaking brick. It really did. It hit me in the face like a freaking brick. I had to pull over to, on the side of the highway to talk to them because we were driving all the way from South Carolina. And it just doesn't feel real, guys. It really doesn't feel real. It feels like he's still alive. Like, how are you here 1 minute and then the next minute you're completely gone? Like, you're just erased off the face of this planet. And I know a lot of you guys probably, have family members, friends and stuff that have passed away, that are passing away, that have just passed away. And it's such a hard feeling. It really is. Like, it kills me because I have a family and I'm always constantly thinking, like, what if one day I'm out on these trips and something happens to my family members? God forbid. It's such a sad thing. And the worst part about it is that Frank didn't have any family members. He died alone. From what I know, he has a sister that apparently doesn't talk to him. And till now that we found out he's dead, apparently she still doesn't want anything to do with him, which is messed up on all levels, guys. So if you guys know of Brother Frank TV, of him having friends and family members, please get the word out if they haven't already, if they don't know already. Like, I don't know if they do. We tried to contact as many people as we possibly can. Like, after I got that information, it was emotional, but I got on the phone with Omar, I got on the phone with Tiffany, got on the phone with Angela, with Chad, everyone that I knew that knew him through the YouTube world, I told them and I spread the word. But the cop told me, if, like literally, if you hadn't called, you probably would be there much, much longer. The man died alone in his house on the floor. So I don't know what happened to him. I'm not going to say the man ended his life. He was a very religious guy. He was a pastor. I personally think, because he's been complaining to me about the medications he's been taking for like a while, I think the medications did something to him. And I'm not going to speculate further because, I'm not an autopsy doctor, and I don't think that they even did an autopsy on him. And if I have more information, I will get it to you guys. This is honestly, like, I don't make videos like this. This is such an, like, it's hard for me to show, like it's emotion on camera is a weird thing. Like, I want to cry, but at the same time, I want to be strong for Frank. You know what I mean? And the thing that kills me the most about all this is that Frank has always told me that, hey, man, I can't wait to go do the locations that you do, like, overseas. I can't wait to, like, travel. And he's like, I want to go to Europe and film all these abandoned places. And the thing that kills me is the thought of that he never got to do that, because I know he loved doing this so much. He loved abandoned. He loved the haunted adventures. And he won't get to do this now because he passed away in his house. I don't know. Maybe if he had family around him, living with him in his house, it would have been different. Maybe they would have been able to help him and save him. He was 57 years old, but the man looked like he was in his 40s. Like, when he told me he was 57, I was in shock. You look like you're in your 30s. I'm 36, turning 36 soon. But he looked like he was, like, late 30s, almost 40s, like, realistically. He was in good shape on the outside for his age. And his spirit, his happiness. It just sucks that we're never going to get to see him anymore. You know what I mean? Yes, we do have some videos together, but it's not enough, right? It's not enough. It really does suck. Yeah, man. This is probably I never thought I'd have to ever make a video like this. I don't think I want to. This has been so stressful. I actually cut my trip short, which is understandable, and came back to Canada because I just couldn't. I'm like, there's no way. My friend died. And I'm going to stay in the U.S. and make content. Pray for, please leave a prayer in the comments below for Frank. That's all we really can do. Prayers are like the best thing we can do. Leave a prayer for Frank in the comments below. That's it. That's all we're going to do. is leave a prayer for him. Remember him for being such an amazing guy, for being such a humble person, and that's really all we can do. You know, the best people are the ones that are remembered in a positive way, right? Like, look at the impact this guy had on my life, and I'm sitting here making this video, telling my thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of fans to remember this man and pray for him. Like, how awesome is that? What an impact this man left on this world, being the humble and kind soul that he is, to leave such an impact in the few years that I've known him. So, be like Frank, man. Be like Frank.